Alright, so autoclickers on Hive are kind of an issue. I'm not going to go over what everybody's talking about with the anti-cheat because there's so many videos on that already. But today in this video, I will show you the best way to detect an autoclicker and hopefully the best way to defeat one. First off, how do you know they're autoclicking? So I'm going to focus on the more blatant autoclickers and not the more closet cheats like swimclan. And the best way to think of it is people usually just type in autoclicker on YouTube to try to get one. You can get an autoclicker in about 5 minutes this way, but there's downsides to it. The biggest downsides are you can't sprint away from somebody and turn off the autoclicker. You have to pause your running to turn it off. That's an easy way to tell if somebody's autoclicking, because if they turn around to run from you and then they pause all of a sudden and turn off clicking and then they start running again, that means they turned off an autoclicker. If they turn away from you and are still clicking regardless, they probably are also autoclicking. As this isn't very usual for a sweat. If they're scrolling through their hotbar slots and still clicking, they're most likely still autoclicking. I doubt there's anybody that can even drag click and do this, so this is a very easy way to see if somebody's autoclicking, and a way that's worked for me in the past. The top autoclicker on YouTube allows you to click, and as soon as you pull back a bow, it stops the clicking. So if they're clicking all the way up to pulling back a bow, and then when they release the bow they start clicking again, they're most likely autoclicking as well. And the final and best way to tell if somebody's autoclicking is if their CPS doesn't match their gameplay. If they're incredibly trash at the rest of the game, like looting very well or bridging, and they all of a sudden use insanely high CPS on you, there's like no way that they're a sweat. Sweats would be good at clicking and the rest of the game around in general, not just good at the clicking factor. This is one of the harder ways to spot an autoclicker, but it still works effectively. Now, how do you defeat an autoclicker? The best answer is you get higher CPS. Okay, that was a joke, don't kill me. The actual best way is to outgame sense them. As I said earlier, autoclickers usually aren't good at the rest of the game in general. They are only able to click fast. So they won't pay attention to stuff such as low ground, block traps, and occasionally snowball combos. Building blocks away from them and waiting for them to jump on top of the blocks, and then jumping off, turning around and knocking them from the side when they're on top of the blocks might sound confusing, but if you get this worked out, you'll have the low ground advantage, and it effectively helps a lot of the time. Another good way to beat autoclickers is hard strafing one direction. Hard strafing one direction tends to be a little bit more difficult for these noobs as opposed to constantly strafing both directions. Now, the final good method for defeating an autoclicker that I'll mention in this video is space cushion. Leaving a space cushion between you and the autoclicker and always going in from different angles and strafes to get the first hit, and then staying out of reach for when they whack at you, is a very good way to defeat them. This is usually how I approach autoclickers, as I keep a space cushion away from them and only go in for the kill when I have a clear shot. And these are the best ways to detect and effectively defeat an autoclicker. But of course, if these don't work, pray.